Alright, and we're back for round one. We've lost the die roll, so we're going second. This hand looks alright. We've got a couple of creatures. We can play 1 and 2. If we draw lands, we'll be able to curve out 3, 4, and so on. We have essentially 6 black sources to be able to draw a swamp, if we include the Search for Tomorrow, so that's good. We're going to keep our hand. Just like typing to be polite. Howdy, thanks for playing. I'm kind of a jerk. I don't like wishing my opponents good luck, because I don't want them to be lucky. I want them to have a good, fair game, but I don't want them to get way lucky. I want them to have a good game, so that's what I wish them. This is overly pedantic and precise, but I do that sometimes. Okay. So Masked Admirer is looking kind of creepy. Oh, Apocryphite is a very, very good card. It's hard to get rid of forever. It's kind of hard to block. However, 0/5s are very, very good at blocking it. Alright, so we're really going to want some land soon. We're going out with the Super Fungus hand, though. We will likely be getting a lot of 1/1 saplings, especially if we can get the Germinator out on time. We don't really want to attack into the Apocryphite without a good reason, because it comes back as a 4/4 ability. Okay, so this is definitely the artifact deck. We may sideboard into the blue just for the guy that destroys artifacts, but we'll see. Alright, so we'll go ahead and always yield to these, because we always want to put the counters on, and we couldn't not. This isn't great, but it's okay. Again, we're just going to get a million 1/1s. Okay. We'll be able to get a fungus whenever. Okay, now we're cooking. Not only does this mean that we get to have more creatures, we can use this to sacrifice our saplings to increase the strength of our creatures. So it makes combat a lot more difficult for our opponent, especially because we're about to start dropping some saplings. Whoops, he's targeting something that for some reason I didn't see. That was pretty good value for him. It's unfortunate, but... Alright, I'm going to go ahead and block this. I'll block the sapling here. I will sacrifice the sapling to be able to eat the Frog Knight. So we take only the 1 damage from the flyer, which we couldn't do anything about. I think next turn, if we can, we want a Imperiosaur. But beggars can't be choosers. Actually, that's pretty good. I'm pretty okay with getting on the aggressive here. It means that he'll be able to start blocking with the Apocryphite and be a pain, but it's hard to argue with getting in for a ton of damage. And I thought I wanted lands. One noticeable thing, unlike Doomblade, or unlike a lot of removal spells, this does kill artifacts. Okay, so I'll probably move the Bone Splitter over from the Thallid if I need to. Although, actually, I may just attack with Germinator, so that I can play Imperiosaur or Masked Admirers. Probably Imperiosaur, because drawing a card matters less now that we're not super needing a land. honestly, with him having a 2-1, I'm less likely to want to attack with my 2-2 anyway. That's odd that he did that before beginning combat phase. I can't really punish it because I don't want to sacrifice this. If I had a sapling, I could sacrifice it to keep the Thallid alive, so that would be good, but I don't, so. Okay, so our opponent's down to 2 cards. He does have 3 evasive damage and has a really good blocker, but we've got a pretty imposing force here, and we're about to get a couple of sapperlings, which will help a lot. Alright, so our opponent's willing to block. That's fine with us. May play a creature. If not, we're going to assume he's got some kind of flash creature, just because it's not safe not to assume that. Mass Admirers will be good to get out soon, so that if it dies, we can get it back. And it's got kind of a graveyard recurrence theme, which I was telling your friend earlier, I really like any card or deck that involves the graveyard or otherwise getting use of from cards multiple times. Okay. Ooh, that's good. Okay, we could remove it, get in for 5, 7, 10, potentially 12 damage. That's pretty good. Oh, we don't actually have enough cards in our graveyard to do that. That's unfortunate. Okay. I will go ahead and attack with everything as it is, because I can use the Germinator to keep my Thallid alive. So this spreads out the power the best we can. It would not surprise me at all if my opponent had some kind of play, like, again, another Pestermite or something, but we shall see. Or any other Flash Fairy. There are others. Okay, if he has nothing, he just blocks a Parasite here. He has to, because that way he gets some value out of it. I guess there's some merit to blocking the Imperiosaur, but 3 damage isn't that different from 5 damage, so I think it's worth just trying to kill the Thallid. There's some question between Shell Dwellers and Admirers, but really we want to be able to get aggressive right now. Plus, it'd be nice to get extra cards so we can have more options. Well, it's just always good, of course. Our opponent is giving this a good think. As Winnie the Pooh would say, think, think, think. Alright, so definitely gonna create a sapling. Okay. So he's not going to be taking damage. That's a pain because it will become a 4/4 without having to die first. But we've got Death Rattle, we've got options. I will, however, still be able to sacrifice my sapling to keep Thallid alive, which is nice. So we get in 7 damage, that's okay. Oh, that's not at all. I already mentioned I wanted to cast Masked Admirer, but I messed up, so. Oops. At least we've got some good things that block Apocryphite and the Homunculus, so that's could be worse. Those flyers are again a pain. I could see using Death Rattle at some point in the future to kill Pestermite. Always yielding to my spore counters because there's no choice involved. Okay. That's 6. That's very close. Okay. If I attack with my 5/5, he can double block and be pretty okay. I could... Actually, I mean, he'd lose both, so it's not the worst. I could also equip my Saproling. I kind of like that. Get in with that and the Imperiosaur, and I can sacrifice the Saproling if I need to. Oh, no, because he blocks the 4/4 on that. Actually, I think I will go ahead and put it on the Germinator, just so that it can trade with the Apocryphite. The Germinator is very good, but just keeping the Apocryphite off the board for a bit may be enough to get in damage to kill, and really we need to get some damage in at some point. There is an option of playing Massive Mires pre-combat just so we can see what options we have. There's also an option of just attacking all out here. If he blocks the 2 1/1s, then he's letting a lot of damage through. I think I like that. Plus this gets cards into my graveyard for Death Rattles. Plus, at least this guy I can just sacrifice if he's blocked. So we're giving up a Thallid here. But we'll probably get at least 1 damage out of it. So I doubt he'll let my 4 through. Oh, okay. So yeah, I got 5. I got 5 extra damage because I attacked with a Thallid. That's pretty much okay with me. Actually, no, I'm gonna sacrifice this, so I'll trade with it. That's even better. It's that or get in 1 extra damage. But I think we want to trade with the blocker so that he cannot chump block my big guys later. Okay, so we need to kind of race the Apocryphite coming back. But given that he's at 3, I don't think that's the hardest thing. Draw another card. Aha! This is why I kept green open, is because we might get a Thallid. Thallid or Search for Tomorrow. The Thallid is pretty good with Bone Splitter because that makes it lethal. Alright, our opponent has 1 non-land in hand. Can't attack. That's good. Okay, so we could Worm Harvest just so that we can later retrace it to get lands into our graveyard. That said, I think we want to have the lands. Okay, Bone Splitter. Okay, so we can cast Death Rattle and equip Bone Splitter. So I'm going to go ahead and equip Bone Splitter. I will declare attacks, and then I will Death Rattle before blockers to give my opponent the most opportunity to do things and give me more information. Yeah, I think we want to just... Okay, that was 1 mana off. We had 1 mana to spare, so that's fine. And our opponent may have just been dead and known it, but... yeah, looks like. Okay, -8, that works. Okay, so the green deck got there. Again, there's the option of Trigon Predator. Spell Starter Sprites are actually better against the artifact deck than they are against others because all of the Arcbound things tend to have a fairly low cost. Plus, they can trade with his fairies. So I'm not positive, but that might not be the worst. Let me think. Is it worth just dropping removal in exchange for things like Trigon Predator, though? I don't know. We can side it back in, but this sounds fun. So let's do that. Spell Starter Sprites are dicey. Could easily do things like Moss Dog instead, or Ether Snipe. I think Ether Snipe's very good. Alright, and let's try Petals of Insight for some card advantage. So we will take out 5 swamps. Five islands is probably okay. Could do... Yeah, let's do one more island just because I'd really like to get that Trigon Predator early. Okay, obviously we cannot keep a lane that has no lands. This is pretty bad. Our opponent kept his hand with 7. If we got a forest, we can search for another land, but it'll come in slowly. Yeah. Okay, this is actually a pretty good hand. Unfortunately, 5 is less than 7, but maybe we can just outvalue. Turn 1 play is always nice. We did get stuck on lane a couple of times last game, and we ended up getting there, so you never know. Oops. Okay, I don't think I want to attack. It's very, very tempting because Mirror Retriever does offer a lot of value. But I really want to get the 1/1s going, especially since I'm low on cards. I don't want to just trade away the few I have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and F4 because we don't have anything, but that kind of makes it look like we might have buff or something. All right. Opponent's going to get aggressive. Again, we'll get the option to trade if we want to. Okay. Moldervine Cloak is interesting because we can turn it into a 4/4 and attack. Might be worth it just so that we can try to trade with the Esperzoa. Esperzoa is very scary, although it'll make him replay that every turn. And if he does not trade, we'll be racing with 4/4, and he'll have to pay 2 mana every turn just to do anything. And we've got Master Admirers next turn, so even if we do trade, we've got follow-ups. It's not an utter 2-for-1 just because we can get Moldervine Cloak back. We would do so at the expense of a draw step. Unfortunately, he can get his Esperzoa back with either of his Mirror Retrievers, which is a problem. This is actually pretty rough. Can't cast Moldervine Cloak this turn, so I'm going to wait on it anyway. That said, at the moment, I think Masked Admirers is essentially as good as an Imperiosaur because it's likely to get blocked by a Retriever as soon as it can. Now we could get back the Moldervine Cloak, but again, we can't cast it this turn, so we may as well get a random card and draw a Moldervine Cloak next turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and develop the board instead, though, because I don't really want to trade with Mirror Retriever, since that would give my opponent a scary creature. That said, we may have open attacks. I definitely would have kept one of these behind to block Oh, okay. Our opponent may be willing to Spellbomb our Admirers, which is okay. The reason I didn't get the Moldavine Cloak this time is our opponent is representing that he's willing to bounce our creature, and if that happened, I definitely wouldn't want to have it enchanted. Alright, so I'll go ahead and attack the Massive Myers. If it's returned, we get to draw another card from it. Alright, so we're... okay. We got tricked again. There are times, though, when you just can't play around combat tricks, so sometimes you gotta. Alright, so our opponent's got a 4-5, so let's go ahead and trump that. Between a 5-5 and if we bring a Moldavine Cloak for a 6-5, we at least have some options here. Our opponent could get very aggressive, bounce our Imperiosaur and get in for 6 damage. I would honestly be really tempted to take that line, though our opponent is down to 1 card. Yeah, our opponent wants to keep some blockers. If I get back Moldavine Cloak, do I attack? No, the other Spellbomb is a pain. Alright, Petals of Insight is actually pretty sweet. It lets us look at the top cards. It's kind of like the Big Daddy of Ponder. If we don't like the top 3 cards, we get Petals back. If we do, then we keep them. I do like Eternal Witness a lot. Getting a 3/3 flyer is actually very, very good. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take those 3 cards. Actually, I don't need the island right now, so I will go ahead and take the Moldavine Cloak. That also starts to fill our graveyard. Yeah, I was going to say, we want to fill our graveyard for Worm Harvest, so that's probably a good idea, actually. So if we retrace this, we would get 2 1/1s. It's not great value right now, but it's pretty good. Alternatively... yeah, I think 5 mana is enough for now. I was going to say we could play it and do Eternal Witness, Moldavine Cloak or something, but I think we're okay with the amount of mana that we've got. For now. If our opponent attacks with the 4/5, we can always block with Massive Myers and place Thallid Germinator and have enough mana up to be able to get Massive Myers back. Do we attack? If we do, our opponent plays Esperzoa, but if our opponent plays Esperzoa, we've got Dusk Wasp to block, so I think it's okay. So we're attacking with this. Our opponent will have the option of attacking with Ethereum Sculptor, but I'll risk it this once. Yep. Go ahead. We know this is coming. Also, the Esperzoa does return things, which makes our opponent play mana that he does not want to necessarily have to apply. Or pay, rather. That Spellbomb is interesting. I would be really tempted to have gotten in damage with it before now, but... okay. What are we doing with the Masked Admirers? I guess next turn we can attack with it. The Mirror Retrievers do combo with each other because one can return the other. So that is awfully good. I think for right now because of that, I don't want to be aggressive, so I will go ahead and block with Masked Admirers just because we can get it back. And if we get it back, we get to draw a card with it, so that's fine. I am tempted to play this forest just because we aren't likely to want to get 1/1s too soon. Because it feels like we've got a lot to be doing. We do want to just cast this so we can get something in the air. Not enough mana for this. If we had played our forest last turn, we actually would have been able to return it, which would have been nice, but we can always do so with Eternal Witness or Thallid Germinator later. Right, I'll keep Imperiosaur back to block Ethereum Sculptor. We're going to play the defensive, but pretty soon we'll be able to Moldervine cloak up Dust Wasp and make our opponent spellbomb it. Opponent returns a... Oh, Spellbomb. That's interesting. I guess it's fine because he casts it for free. I was imagining something else, but yeah, this is definitely better. Okay, we're a bit low on time because I'm talking because this deck is very slow and grindy, so I'm going to try and play a bit faster. Okay, I'm not concerned about his ground stuff. I guess he'll get it back with the Mirror Retriever. That's, of course, what he's going for. Okay, but we get another. Or we can start bringing back worms, but... yeah, I think we'll go ahead and play this. We'll get back our Masked Admirers. This time we will not trade our Dust Wasp with the Esperzoa just because we do want to Moldervine Cloak it, which will make it immune to that sort of hijinks. Okay, so he does have a bunch of creatures that we don't really want to block. Like, he could attack with a Mirror Retriever here, and I probably wouldn't block it. Yeah, there we go. That said, our opponent does not have a flyer, so we can go ahead and Moldervine Cloak with relative impunity. Our opponent can bounce it. But we've got enough with the other land we have in hand, we can go ahead and just replay it. I kind of like that. Yep. And obviously we will have to dredge to get the cloak back, but I'm pretty okay with that. It just slows us down one turn, which I'm fine with. Okay, next turn we're going to have all kinds of mana. We could also, instead of dredging, we could use Eternal Witness to get back Moldervine Cloak just on its own. That would give us an extra creature, but I think that we just want to get value. If nothing else, dredging is pretty good when we've got this in the graveyard, the Worm Harvest. Our opponent has no flyers, so let's go ahead and see if we can get in some damage. Will you let me, friend? Alright, suddenly you're down to 14-2. Okay. I'm definitely in a hurry to get some more lands because I'd love to start replaying our worms. Though Germinator and Shell Dweller is not a bad start either. Okay, our opponent could potentially have some tricks. But I'm willing to block these, I think. I don't care about Master Mars. And it would take a pretty good trick to get Imperiosaur. I definitely don't want to attack with the Imperiosaur. Playing in a hurry, but don't want to make that kind of mistake. I'd be impressed if he went for a 5-4. Yep, thought he might. Sorry, 5-6. Let's get some chump blockers. And the potential to make some more. Our opponent really needs to get an answer to the Dust Wasp, otherwise it's just going to kill it. If our opponent does answer the Dust Wasp, though, our attacks become kind of viable, just going all in. Alright. Looks like we may not get to a game 3. We may be able to pull this out, but don't want to get too ambitious saying that. I do like that the worms are shiny. It's nice having a foil worm harvest. Let's go ahead and get some more worms. If every one of our lands gives us this much value, that's pretty awesome. Times like these make me wish that I did have the Trompe domains, just so we could, you know, +2/+2 and trample to this whole legion is going to be pretty scary. Alright, that'll block my flying for one turn, and it'll let you have a chance to draw into a better answer. Alright, so probably drew at least one island. There's one card that does not answer it. Eternal Witness can get back the Dust Wasp, which I really should have probably done before this. But that's fine. Okay, next turn, if he does not have a flyer, I'll probably attack with everything just to, Wow, he let the damage through. That's interesting. Okay. I'm not going to return Masked Admirers because I want to have enough for the Wasp. Our opponent may have an answer in hand or may just be trying to buy time. Either way, we definitely want to put the most lethal force we can out. Yeah, this is a pretty impressive battle force. I don't know Modern Masters well enough to be able to guess exactly what he could have here. That would get him out of this. I believe that there is a Wrath of God effect that just kills everything, but it would take something like that. And, you know, with Worm Harvesting Graveyard, that's not the worst. Just don't want to waste my time. So yeah, behold the power of Thalids. Pestermite is going to tap our big flyer. That makes sense. We'll attack with our other big flyer at least, maybe everything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that leaves lethal. So you'll have to have more than that to stop me. Mwahaha. Oh, I accidentally did not attack with this worm. That's unfortunate. Thankfully, we do also have an extra power because we can use the Thalid Germinator's Thalid. And this is double lethal, so even if there's a removal for one thing, this gives us options. I will have to call that person back in a moment. Alright, and that's the round.